Is schizophrenia contagious? Because what is this? We are literally watching the fall of Candace Owens in real time, and it's pretty sad to watch. In her latest episode, both schizo and video, she's literally exhibiting schizophrenic behavior. Hear me out. Start believing a conspiracy that a small group of people control the entire world and your life, do selective research on websites like 8chan to confirm your own delusions, start getting upset when the people around you are not believing you, and now her fourth and final stage, getting extremely paranoid that this group of unknown powers is going to kill her for being aware. Ooh, if I get taken out, it was Israel. Babe, Israel's fighting a multi-front war. You are the least of their problems. The IDF is working to eliminate Yahweh Sinwar, the man behind October 7th, and bring both American and Israeli hostages home. They're not sitting on Twitter scrolling, watching your random videos where who knows they can even watch it ever since you got fired. Anyway, if you don't believe me, just watch these 2 clips and tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. And by throwing out some ideas, I mean I've read a ton of books and I've figured it out.
She's figured it out, everybody. She's read some books and she's figured it out. It's giving Mayan calendar, the world's ending doomsday kind of vibes.
So over the idea that Israel is our ally and friend. If another person says that stupid statement, I'm going to personally punch you in the face.
Israel is the greatest ally of the United States. I'm ready. Also, lastly, I just want to quickly add that I think it's hysterical that she's filming all of this in front of these family photos while her father-in-law is condemning her all over the internet. That's embarrassing.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Conservative Confucius here. Back at it again. Let's get down to it. I'm going to do some more coverage on Candace's mental breakdown, Candace Owens, that is. A little bit why maybe this happened. You know, we've all been pretty shocked about this. We've all kind of not really understood where it came from. We saw it happen in real time, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. She's basically become a mix between, I'd say she's even worse than Nick Fuentes in many ways. It's verging on the Lucas Gage level of Jew hatred. So, I mean, obviously she had that interaction with Shmuley Botek. I'm not a fan of him. He's too animated and ridiculous, and you know, he's not the nicest of people, and he's not the best of people, period. I mean, he's a rabbi whose family owns a dildo company. I don't agree with him. He's not a good Jew. He's not a good religious person, and he's not a good person, period. But does that justify her treatment of all Jews around the world because of one instance that she was treated badly, even though she's had tons of instances where she was treated unbelievably well by Jews, whether it's PragerU, Daily Wire, it doesn't matter. And so let's get down to it. Let's see, maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's her relationships. Maybe it's her husband. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Let's get down to it and do it. Alrighty, don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. It really helps this video, guys, when you guys subscribed. Alrighty, don't forget, if you like this video, share it in the end. All right, let's get down to it and do it. Let's get to it and do it. Alrighty. So, like I said, does it have something to do with her husband, George Farmer? We covered a little bit, I think, in my last video where they talk about how her husband is from a small sect of Judaism, of Catholicism, that rejects all the popes since Pope Pius XII. And I think we covered that in my last video. I think so. And her husband rejects every pope since Pope Pius XII. I'm not Catholic. I don't agree with popes, period, at all. Nothing. Popes are ridiculous. I don't agree with that. But let's just say, we'll talk about it because I do know a lot about Catholicism. So we'll talk about it as if I am one almost, but I'm not. Obviously, I'm a Messianic Jew. So, but yeah, let's get down to it. So her husband is from this sect. They believe all popes from Pope Pius XII are illegitimate. They're not worthy of holding the mantle of pope, and everything they've done has destroyed the Catholic Church. I don't agree with that because I'm not a Catholic. I do agree that the Catholic Church has become demonic, but it's happened long before Pope Pius XII. Pope Pius XII was actually one of the people who helped it become more demonic. And basically, this is Hitler's pope. So Hitler was alive when this pope served. He was a very anti-Semitic pope who hated Jews, who refused to help Jews in their tribulations and trials during the Holocaust. Not a good man. But after him, there was another pope that came in, and he said, we need to stop treating Jews badly. There's no reason to do so. And people are like, oh, they killed Christ. Well, how can you say that? Okay. Number one, they didn't kill Christ. The Romans killed Christ, and there was a small itty bitty portion of ultra religious leaders in the Jewish community that wanted him dead. So you're talking about, possibly less than 50 people out of million, a couple million. So you're talking less than 50 people out of a million people wanted him dead, and you're going to blame the entire group of people for that? And they were like, we can't do that. That's not okay. This guy disagrees with this. This guy thinks we should have the right to judge Jews, blah, 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 blah. And that's where they come from. They believe in Hitler's Pope, and they believe in Jew hatred. They believe that anti-Semitism is just and fine and even Christian in a way. It's disgusting.
This is a different woman.
So he's talking about how he met his wife right here, and how there was no romantic feelings at all. There never was. Even until the day they got engaged, they had never once felt anything romantic. He just thought, this is a woman of power and I'm going to marry her. That's it. No religious, no feelings, no nothing. No romanticism, no feelings, no nothing.
To any woman that I meet her. So she was giving a speech in London, and she was giving a speech at the Royal Automobile Club, which is a club in Pall Mall in London. And I was in the audience. We met, we shook hands, and I just knew, kind of, when I met her, I was like, this is a woman who, she just commanded a power. It was very difficult to describe. Nothing romantic was said, between that day and the day that we got engaged. Nothing romantic was said at all. There was no overtures. Like we didn't go for dinner. Like we didn't take it. Nothing.
Send her flowers.
No, nothing. Yeah, nothing exactly. And so I was very clear about that, because it was almost like getting to know oneself in some ways. It was kind of a very strange experience. It was like I saw myself in her, and in doing so, and that sounds sort of, well, I fell in love with myself. No, I didn't fall in love with her. I fell in love with a woman who gave so much of myself back to me, and I kind of...
You just said you didn't fall in love with her. There was no romantic feelings.
I was very willing to let myself fade and give glory to her. That's how I view our marriage in many ways. Like I'm very happy to take a secondary position to give glory to her. I'm far less politically involved now than I was, because she's much more politically involved than I ever could be.
That's because there's political involvedness in England is nothing compared to America, and you're not an American, so that's why you stepped back. It wasn't because you wanted to; it was because you had to. You didn't have an option, buddy.
When I met her, she was this tour de force, incredible mind, incredible beauty. I was so willing to just be
ridiculous. Yeah. Let's get down to it a little bit more.
So Candace Fuentes is on a new holy war against us Jews in the name of Catholicism. Her newest thing is that we Jews are pedophiles, and she talks about how Catholic girls used to go missing on Passover and Freud worshipped Baphomet.
Yeah, so the thing she said, I think this girl gets into it. She talks about medieval times, but like I said in my previous video, Candace Owens thinks that the things that were said about Jews in the medieval times, for some reason, happened during the 18th century. She says that Frankist whatever cult were accused of draining blood from, Christian and Catholic children during Passover. But that's a blood libel from nearly like 600-700 years previous to that. So it has nothing to do with the 18th century. By then, those rumors and lies had been like, basically they faded into obscurity, and they were just lies, and everyone knew they were.
And she obviously doesn't hate Jews. She just really cares about children. So then how come Candace never talked about the biggest pedophilic scandal since the beginning of time? This is not coming from me. This is coming from Pope Francis. In 2014, Pope Francis said that 2% of Catholic clergy are pedophiles. In 2021, it was reported that 216,000 children in France alone were sexually assaulted by Catholic clergymen. But you never heard Candace talk about this. Why? Because
since 1990, it's roughly estimated that there has been between 4.6 and 5.5 million children abused by the Catholic Church.
Because Catholic girls used to go missing on Passover? There was a church-commissioned report. This is coming from the Catholic Church that said that 4,000 U.S. Roman Catholic priests had sexually assaulted 10,000 children in the past 50 years. I've never heard Candace talk about that. But guys, she really cares about children and pedophilia, and that's why she's talking about how all Jews, specifically medieval Jews, were pedophilic. There was
Actually, she's not talking about medieval Jews. You would think she's talking about medieval Jews, like I said, because of the Passover blood libel. But she's talking about 18th century and 19th century Jews. She is a scumbag. And she's even talking about 1948, like she said in her last video.
Burned at the stake, obviously. Accusations of Catholic clergymen touching children inappropriately have come out of Argentina, Australia, France, Austria, the USA, Canada, Ireland, Scotland, England, the Philippines, Belgium, and Germany. But these two reptilian pillars of darkness want you to know that it was Israel who was founded by pedophiles. But don't forget, guys, they don't hate Jews. They just really care about children.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, seriously, I don't know how, should I go over all of the information? I mean, let me just think about this real quick. So let's open up my big screen for you guys. All right. So, all right, let's see. So you have you have the old blood libels, which happened mainly from like about 1100 AD to about 13 or 1400 AD. That's when they started, and that was the blood libel of Christian children are disappearing during Passover, blah 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 blah. That was actually lies that were spread, and that's why it's called the blood libel. And the Jews didn't name it the blood libel. The Catholic Church named it the blood libel because it was untrue. And you have the fact that, she's saying, oh, Israel was set up because it was a pedophile thing, blah, blah, blah. And she's also claiming recently, you heard that girl mention Argentina as one of the places that reported problems with Catholicism and its pedophilia and all that stuff. So what's ridiculous is Candace recently called out the prime minister of of Argentina for having blue eyes because she doesn't trust anybody with blue eyes from Argentina because of the fact that some Nazis went there during the 1940s. And yes, that's true. But I'm sorry, let's just say he has a tiny bit of German ancestry from, let's say, I don't know, 60, 80 years ago, whatever. Does that mean that he's bad because his great-great-grandfather was bad or his great-grandfather was bad? I'm sorry, that's just so stupid. Like, it's leftist thinking. And someone said to me the other day, they were like, Candace is a leftist. She always has been. She's never changed. And that's true. Let's talk about that. So Candace used to be a far left progressive. She hasn't changed that. Her views on things are still the same. She looks at race. She looks at skin color. She looks at oppressive history. And then she judges based on those attributes. She just does it in a way which makes you sound like she's on your side sometimes. And she's made money off of doing that. I'm black and I'm a conservative and those people are oppressing me. And okay, I'm black and they won't let me speak. That's because they're the racist. Okay, stop using your skin color and start just talking about the things that you believe in. Like, literally. And then now she's doing the same thing to Jews that she says she is happening to her. She's attacking them and treating them like crap and lying about them and making up conspiracy theories. And then when someone says something about her, like, oh, they're making up lies and stuff about me. It's the same thing. It's the same playbook that far left activist progressives use. She's still a leftist at heart. And you see this with her defending Venezuela and then shitting on Argentina. She even called Argentina possibly fascist, is what she said. Even though Argentina is the only country in the world right now that is doing exactly what Trump would have done if he had the freedom to do so. All of his policies were based off of Trump's policies that he wanted to do, but he knew he never really could because of the political system in America. He did it. And she's complaining that he might be a fascist because he might have German ancestry and he lives in Argentina and he's doing everything that Trump wanted to do. She's not even supporting Trump anymore, saying that he's been bought out by the Jews. Like, she's stuck in this position where she's using these like tactics that she's used forever since she was a progressive leftist, and she's stuck pushing propaganda for her Islamist and neo-Nazi fans that she has now because they're the only fans she has left. Everyone else has abandoned her. Everyone, even her father-in-law, her husband's father, has abandoned them and said that she has gone crazy. She doesn't agree with this. Anti-Semitism is wrong. He supports Israel. He supports the war against the Hamas, all this stuff. And she said, and he said that she doesn't agree with anything she's saying, that she's gone too far and she shouldn't be saying these things, and how much it hurts the Jewish people every time she does something like this. And she doesn't care. She doesn't care because she's insane. And her husband may be part of that sect of Catholicism, but her husband's father isn't. He only recently became a Christian, I guess like 10 or 15 years ago, he said, which is around the same time his son did. But I mean, they did their journey separately. And it's disgusting that we have to sit here and argue about why, what this woman is saying and why it's wrong. Of course it's wrong. It should be obvious to anybody that this is wrong. And people need to stop hosting this woman and giving her a platform. You have the right to speak and say what you want, but you do not have the right to be platformed by anybody. And people do not have the obligation to put you on their platform so you can be heard from their audience. And the same thing that's happening with, I see Valuetainment and PBD, Patrick Bet-Davis, inviting people on like Dan Bilzerian and Candace Owens and other people that are just extremely racist against Jews and say the most absurd shit. Or even like, I'm not a big fan of him, but Billy Carson, that crazy fake history nut who wrote that book called The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, says that the word Jesus comes from Isis, which comes from Zeus, which comes from this, which comes from that. And it's all bullshit. He doesn't have any historical facts at all. It's all based on lies and revisionist crap and stuff that doesn't make any sense and things he just made up in his mind. And it's such bullshit. And he has him on. And while he's interviewing these people like Billy Carson or Candace Owens, and while they're spewing all of their fake history or fake bullshit or lies or propaganda or conspiracy theories, he doesn't question them. He just goes, yeah, yeah. Like he agrees with them. And it pisses me off. It's like, dude, question them. Say, okay, well, where did you get that information? Okay. All right. How did you come to that conclusion? Okay. All right. All right. Well, why do you say this? What made you think this? Where are you getting your information from that made you form this opinion? Okay. All right. Do that. He's not doing any of that. He just lets them talk their bullshit and then says, okay, and kind of agrees with them in the end. And it's like, what? You're not doing anything, dude. You're only furthering their cause while shitting on your own. And it's disgusting. Like, people need to wake up and stop just placating people and start pushing back against them. This is why the right has issues. We won't win until we start pushing back against their shit instead of letting them just voice their shit. If we're going to invite someone on our podcast we disagree with, stand up against them. Don't just let them talk. All right. That's going to be it for this video, guys. I appreciate you guys coming down. Don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Don't forget to share this video if you guys like it. I appreciate you guys coming down. Have a good one. All righty. See you next time.